Live from the 301, live from the pot. I want to welcome my audience to episode number 147 of Curry in the Pot. I'm your host, I'm your guy, Mike Curry. I'm back here another episode, man. And if you missed last week's episode, please make sure y'all go check that out. It was my first time being back on YouTube in a minute. And I actually recorded it last Saturday, so make sure you go check that out. I'm recording again on another Saturday, October the 24th. So if you're on YouTube, hello again. You guys can see me. And please do me a favor and subscribe, man. And subscribe to me on all platforms, man. Whether that's Apple Podcast, Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever you get podcasts at, man. I'm pretty much there. And of course, subscribe to me on YouTube, man. Please do me a solid and share as well, man. But we had a quite eventful week, man. And I got some big news to start off with. I know everybody knows exactly where I'm going. But the big news, man, is it's another case of a team getting richer, man. The rich get richer. And last night, yesterday, whatever you want to say, the Buccaneers acquired Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown is now a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it's crazy how that change of events happened. Earlier in the week, there was a report that the Seahawks had interest in Antonio Brown. Next thing you know, I see that Antonio Brown has a scheduled visit to Tampa Bay. Next thing you know, the two sides have agreed to a deal. And yeah, it's on a 1-year deal for the remainder of the year. AB will come off the suspension and should play in week 9 against the Saints, man. So that's exciting. I'm excited. I know Antonio Brown, man, it's been crazy over the past couple of years. Been doing a lot of wild stuff, man. Stuff on social media. We all know how that Raiders fiasco went. But I'm excited, man, that he gets another chance of redemption because the New England thing was going to work. But, obviously a rape allegation came out, pretty much right after his first game with the Patriots. And, Patriots said, we got to cut ties with you. Don't speak to, the person that's accusing you, blah, 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 blah. But I think, this time Antonio Brown is going to get right. He's going to understand what's at stake. And he'll be fine. But also, what does this mean for the Buccaneers? Tom Brady was the driving force behind this. Because earlier, in the offseason, head coach Bruce Arians said he didn't want Antonio Brown. We're not interested. So I'm sure that Tom Brady was the driving force behind this, man. Mike Evans has been banged up. Chris Godwin has missed a couple of games here. So I think Antonio Brown, he's fresh. I'm sure he's in shape. This guy's a workout warrior. I'm sure he's in shape, and I'm sure he'll come right in and contribute. But not also, this says Tom Brady probably knew, we need another piece. He probably had a feeling, we may not be able to come out of the NFC if we stay pat. Even though they just blew out the Packers last week, that's besides the point. But he probably knew, if we want a real run at this thing, we got to go acquire AB. And I'm sure AB has been told, you're on a short leash, no antics. And I'm really hoping that he can stay on track, man. I really am. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for this new start. And I know a lot of people are upset. I kind of myself wanted to see him on the Seahawks or the Ravens. I would like to see one of those teams, but it's hard to pass up an opportunity to play with Tom Brady, for a second time. So we'll see how this time goes, man. It should be very, very interesting. On paper, like I said, the Bucs offense is, completely loaded. It was loaded before this on paper, but you add Antonio Brown to that puzzle, to that core with, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Gronk just had a nice game last week, as well as Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones. We'll see, man. I'm excited, man. Shout out to AB, man. He's back in the league, man. It's crazy. Last week, another week is in the books. Obviously, week 6. I did okay on the picks, man. I did 8-5. There's only 13 games. That was the best I can do, guys. So let's do a quick recap. There was no Thursday night game, so let's head straight to Sunday. Last week, we had the Patriots and the Broncos. This game, it caught me off guard, man. And I think part of it is because the Patriots didn't have as much time to practice. They had a bunch of COVID things going on. We all know Cam Newton had COVID. He had to miss a game. They really didn't really get too much of an opportunity to practice. They almost had a chance to win this game at the end. They ended up losing. Pretty much they lost the game to Brandon McManus, man, who had 6 field goals, was 6 for 6. And they lost 18-12. Drew Lock didn't look impressive. The only impressive players really to me was Phillip Lindsay, who in his first game back had 100 yards. Tim Patrick, he had a solid day. But for the Patriots, man, it's nothing to really report and nothing to really talk about, man. They just didn't look good. Cam Newton even admitted that he hasn't been playing good. So that's pretty much the story of the game. That was one of 5 that I predicted incorrectly. Next game, Titans and Texans. So this was one of my upsets that I predicted last week. It didn't quite go as planned. Texans had a chance to win this one. They were up 7 after they had scored, and they ended up going for 2 to win the game. And they didn't go for 2, well, not even to win the game, but to go up 2 possessions. And they did not get the 2-point conversion. Titans end up getting the ball. They drive down and they score. Because I think the Texans, they ended up getting the ball and they scored. So that game ended up going to overtime, and then the Texans ended up losing in overtime. But they had a chance to win. So, my analysis and my prediction was not far off, because this is a game they should have won, but stupid stuff happens. You can't even blame Bill O'Brien, the former head coach, for this one. You just can't. There's no way to really explain that. But in this game, man, Ryan Tannehill, he looked amazing. Derrick Henry had over 212 rushing yards, man. He had a huge day from scrimmage, man. He played great. If you love a fireworks show, if you love points, a lot of points were scored in this game, man. Final score was 42-36. Titans did win. Next game, Steelers and the Browns. I know last week I said on the air that I got the Browns, but it just wasn't sitting right with me after I recorded. So I ended up going with the Steelers and changing my pick, and this game was never close. This game was never close. Final score was 38-7, and I hate to put this all on Baker Mayfield, but I kind of have to, man. He just hasn't, not all of it, but some of it. I got to. Like that interception of Minkah Fitzpatrick, I don't know what the guy was looking at. I don't know at all. They weren't able to run the ball in this one. They were just... I don't think the Browns are a team that can play from behind. They're another on-schedule team like the Ravens. Not, exactly like the Ravens, but they have to stay on schedule and, be in striking distance. They can't... I don't think Baker Mayfield is the type of quarterback that can overcome a huge deficit. Yes, the talent on the offense is there, but I just think the offense it's a run-first offense, and then you open up with the pass. You don't want Baker Mayfield airing the ball out. He just hasn't proven to be that type of guy. But the Steelers, man, I got to give credit when credit is due, man. Final score 38-7. Ben Roethlisberger, he's been solid this year. James Conner had another 100-yard day. Chase Claypool, he got in the end zone again with a rushing touchdown, man. For the Browns, nothing really, too much to report and talk about. They got manhandled. Final score 38-7. Next game, Eagles and Ravens. This game was crazy. It got out of hand early. Carson Wentz ended up bringing the Eagles back in this one, and the Ravens only won this game by 2, man. That's crazy, man. I knew that the Eagles would make it competitive. I didn't know how it would happen. They were 10-point underdogs for you bettors out there and for you point spread people. But they ended up coming back, man. Final score was 30-28. Next game, we had the Giants and the Washington football team. Last week, I picked the football team. I thought they had a chance. I thought they had a legitimate chance to win. But that just didn't materialize, man. They ended up going for 2, which I don't disagree with. I know a lot of people are upset. Like, why would they go for 2? Why would they go for 2? But if you look at it, Ron Rivera has a history of going for 2. This time it just didn't work out. It didn't pan out, man. And the football team, they ended up losing pretty much a heartbreaker, man. Final score was 20-19. Kyle Allen, he looked decent. Daniel Jones had a big run in this game. He looked all right. And we're going to talk about big runs by Daniel Jones in a minute. But yeah, man, the Giants got it done, man. That's all I can really say. Next game, Vikings-Falcons. I knew this was a spot that I liked a lot for the Atlanta Falcons, man. They just fired Dan Quinn. And usually when teams fire their coach, they're a bit motivated, at least for 1 week. They come out hot. And in this case, the Falcons came out hot, putting up 40 points, man. We know that this team is capable of doing it, but just the worry and the concern is, are they capable of closing out the game? And this time they did. 40-23 final score. Picked off Kirk Cousins on the first play of the game. Matty Ice. Matt Ryan had 4 touchdowns in this game, 371 yards passing. The diamond in the rough, though, for the Minnesota Vikings got to be Justin Jefferson. He's special, man. He is nice. That boy is good. That boy is good. He's top 5 in receiving yards already as a rookie, man, a young pup. Shouts out to Justin Jefferson, man. He's been lighting it up. Top 5 or top 7, one of them. I know he's up there. But shout out to Justin Jefferson. Matt Ryan hooked up with Julio, hooked up with Calvin Ridley, man. He looked good, man. The Falcons aren't your, normal, typical 1-5 team. They're really not. Through 6 games, I would say at worst they're 2-14. Should be 3-3 to be honest, but it's another story for another day. Falcons got the W. Next game, Jaguars, Lions. These are two. I didn't want to predict this game at all. I don't like the Lions. I don't like the Jaguars. But the Lions got it done, man. DeAndre Swift, he had a nice day, man. He had 14 carries, 116 yards, and 2 TDs on the ground. He was the big story pretty much throughout the game for both teams. 34-16 was the final score. Not too much to talk about in this game. Next game, Panthers and the Bears. I thought the Panthers were going to win this one, to be honest, man. But I guess I got to start giving the Chicago Bears some respect, man. They're 5-1. Which is very odd and weird to say, but they are 5-1, man. Final score in this one was 23-16. Teddy Bridgewater did not look good. Kind of looked normal in this one. The Bears, man, they just have a habit of, this year at least, just winning these grinded out games. 23-16, your 24-17s, your 23-17 type of games. They're comfortable with winning games like that, and I can't really knock it, man. Final score, though, 23-16. I think when they bump into the upper echelon of teams in the NFC, your Packers, even the 49ers, I think, would give them trouble. Your Rams, even the Cardinals, Seahawks, teams like that, I don't think they will win, but they're 5-1, man. They're doing what you got to do. Next game, tied for first place. I think they are first place because the Packers had a bye already. But next game, Dolphins, Jets. Not too much to talk about. We all know the Jets are horrible. They're absolutely horrible. Final score, though, 24-0. But the other news, man, and this for the Dolphins at least, is Tua. It's Tua time. Tua Tagovailoa will start after the Dolphins bye week. So, should be interesting to see. I'm excited to see Tua. I knew it would only be a matter of time. Just didn't know when. Because Ryan Fitzpatrick has actually been pretty solid this year. But final score, as I mentioned, 24-0 in that game. Next game, Bucs, Packers. I took the Bucs in this one, man, because I just thought they needed to win way more. They needed a lot more. Final score was 38-10. Packers went up 10-0. Never scored again. That is not what you want to see from the Packers. But this has been a theme, and this has been a problem for the Green Bay Packers. Last year, I said the same thing. They were 13-3, but they didn't look like an amazing 13-3 team. When they played the 49ers, they got mollywopped. Got mollywopped by the Chargers last year. Played the 49ers in the playoffs. Got mollywopped again. When they play these elite teams, they have difficulty. But they can beat everybody else, though. Don't get me wrong. They can beat your football team, your Cowboys. Drop my sheet, I'm sorry. Your Eagles, your Giants. They can beat all the bad teams, but when they play the elite teams, the upper echelon teams, they struggle mightily. Final score in this one was 38-10. Next game, the Sunday Nighter. I picked the 49ers to win this one, man, and they did. Final score was 24-16. I wasn't solely basing it off of the pure fact that the Rams only beat the NFC East, but that was part of it, man. Like, when you beat the football team and you beat the Giants, okay, big deal. Big deal, man. The NFC East is historically bad, but, they did what they had to do. They beat the teams in front of them. They beat who was on their schedule. They didn't make the schedule. They just went out and played it. But I kind of got to take that with a grain of salt just because the NFC East is so bad. But for the 49ers, they kind of needed to win this one. And they did. Final score 24-16. Next game, we had two Monday nighters. We had the Buffalo Bills taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Final score in that Chiefs game was 26-17. I'm sorry. And the big story was not Patrick Mahomes. It was Clyde Edwards-Helaire, man. The rookie out of LSU had 161 yards on the ground. Looked good, man. Put some pep in his step. After the Chiefs signed Le'Veon Bell, the Chiefs got it done, man. 26-17. Josh Allen, he did not look good in this game at all. I don't even think he got to 200 yards passing. He did not look good. But the Chiefs got it done, man. They went in a different fashion. Final score 26-17. And then that last game, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. 38-10. Arizona Cardinals defeated the Dallas Cowboys, and that game was ugly, was never close. Actually, I lied. It was 0-0 after the first quarter, but after that, it got ugly. It got ugly. Andy Dalton was under duress the whole game. Zach Martin got injured. Ezekiel Elliott fumbled twice. It was just a mess. Kyler Murray didn't look good passing. Looked good on the ground, though. Hooked up with Christian Kirk a couple of times. Kenyon Drake looked nice. Had a couple of big runs. Final score 38-10. Let's move on, man, to Week 7. And Week 7 has already begun. We have the Philadelphia Eagles winning in dramatic fashion on Thursday night. And the final score in that one was 22-21. The big story to me was not the Daniel Jones running for 80 yards and then tripping. It was Carson Wentz, man. And Evan Ingram, too. He dropped the pass. He dropped the pass he should have caught. And that sucks, man. That's a terrible way to lose. But Carson Wentz, he looked great. Kind of been struggling, but he came back. He looked great, especially in the second half, fourth quarter. It was winning time, and Wentz looked good, man. He stepped up. And, Eagles are all types of banged up on their third string tight end, Richard Rodgers, who was waived by the football team earlier in the year. And Eagles got it done, man, 22-21. Giants, they did put up a fight, which I expected. But, Evan Ingram, man. Giants Nation is mad at you right now, buddy. Final score, though, 22-21 Eagles. So let's get into these predictions, man. We got the Titans and the Steelers. Titans lost left tackle Taylor Lewan. He's out for the year. Steelers also lost middle linebacker Devin Bush. Terrific middle linebacker. I'm going to take the Steelers. Next game, football team, Dallas Cowboys. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna take the football team. I think this is my third. No, this will be my fourth time picking them in 7 weeks. I'm gonna take the football team. Damn it, I'm gonna take them. Next game, Jets Bills. Bills Mafia. Jets are terrible. They might go 0-16. Next game, Saints Panthers. This game should be interesting. Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders are going to both be out. Saints are coming off a bye. But I think this is a bad spot for them, man. And I'm going to take Carolina. Next game, Texans-Packers. Interesting game. Final injury report is not out. But Aaron Jones is a game-time decision. David Bakhtiari is expected to miss this game. This is an interesting game. Because I think the Texans have a chance to win. But I think the Packers will bounce back, man. They got humiliated last week, got embarrassed. I think they'll come back and win. A close game, though. Give me the Packers. Next game, Bengals and Browns. Browns are another team that not like the Packers, but in a way they are. They beat up on these bad teams. But when it's time to play a real team, like your Ravens and the Steelers, who absolutely embarrassed them twice, embarrassed them this year, I'm going to take the Browns in this spot, man, to beat the Bengals. But the Bengals should make it interesting. Joe Mixon will be out, but I like the Browns to win. Next game, Falcons, Lions. I'm gonna take Atlanta, man. Again, I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna take the Falcons. I like the Falcons in this spot, man. Next game, Raiders, Buccaneers. Give me Tampa Bay. Next game, Patriots, 49ers. Should be another interesting game. Do I see the Patriots losing a third straight game? The 49ers also need to win this game to stay upright in the division. This is tough, man. This is extremely tough. I'm going to take the 49ers, though. I'm going to take the 49ers. Next game, Chiefs-Broncos. Should be some snowy weather in this game, but I'm going to take Kansas City. Next game, Cardinals-Seahawks. Give me Seattle. And Monday Night Football, Rams and Bears. I'm going to take the Bears. Take the Chicago. No. I'm going to take the Rams. I'm going to take the Rams. My bad, y'all. I'm going to take the Rams. And we have 4 teams on bye. Vikings, Dolphins, Colts, and Ravens. And I want to head over to some NBA news real quick. Some news happened last week that I didn't talk about. I don't even think I talked about Doc Rivers signing with Philly, but shout out to Doc Rivers. But the man who took his old job, Tyronn Lue, will be the next coach of the Clippers. And I think I don't know how that's going to go, man. I don't know how that's going to go. But Tyronn Lue is now Mr. Steal Your Job. He took the Cavs job when David Black got fired. Got the Clippers job when Doc Rivers got fired. He's Mr. Steal Your Job, man. I know a bunch of teams were pretty much interested in him. But, yeah. We got a win. Well, not a win, but we got Tyronn Lue becoming the Clippers head coach. And also in other coaching news, we got Stan Van Gundy becoming the Pelicans coach, and I like that for him. And I like that for the Pelicans, man. He gets to coach a nice young mob, nice team on the rise. I like that move. And shout out to Stan Van Gundy. And then, who else? Somebody else got a job. I forgot. I feel bad. I feel so bad. I think Pacers got a head coach. But that's it, man. That's pretty much it in the realm of sports. Lastly, you guys see what I'm wearing. I'm wearing a vintage Obama and Biden tee. But this is to spread awareness, and I want everybody to vote. Especially if you've been rocking with me and been rocking with Curry in the Pot. Please vote. I'm taking this very seriously. I'm not the most political guy, but this is probably the biggest election in our lifetime, at least for my generation. But it might be the biggest election ever, man. We got to vote. We got to exercise our right. We got to do what our ancestors died for and pretty much worked for. And, yeah, I just want everybody to vote, man. Please take this seriously. And that is all, man. But if you got to the end, I really, really appreciate it. And I want to thank everybody for listening, man. On YouTube, appreciate you guys. Wherever you guys are listening to me at, I really, really appreciate it. And I'm Mike Curry, and I'm signing out. Episode number 147 is done. Peace.